Okay, my next one is, what values of x are the solutions for x squared plus 2x equals 8? On this particular problem, I would solve this and set it equal to 0. If I didn't know how to do that, I can take these answers and substitute in. I would get negative 4 squared, which is 16, 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8, and that does equal 8. It has to also work for the 2. 2 squared would be 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8. Both of these answers work. That's my solution. If you wanted to check these, you can, but it wouldn't be necessary. On this particular problem, in the real numbers, what is the solution of the equation? 8 to the 2x plus 1 equals 4 to the 1 minus x. This is a lot more difficult, and they're giving you fractions for your answers. On this particular problem, you would have to have a calculator where you understood exponents and fractions. So make sure you have a calculator with that. I'm going to tell you that C, negative 1/8 is the answer, and I would have got that by taking 8 to the 2 times negative 1/8 plus 1 power and setting it equal to 4 to the 1 minus negative 1/8 power. This is negative 2/8 plus 1, that's negative 1/4 plus 1, and that gives me 3/4. So in my calculator, I want to be able to type in 8 to the 3/4 power. Over here, it's 1 plus 1/8, which gives me 9/8. Over here, I'm typing in 4 to the 9/8 power. I prefer the graphing calculator. I think it makes it much easier. So on this, I would do 8. My caret key is my fraction key, and then I'm going to use parentheses. 3 divided by 4. I end up with 4.7568. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. 4, caret key, parentheses, 9 divided by 8, and I end up with exactly the same number. The graphing calculator is nice because you still have that on the screen. Okay? These calculators are a lot more difficult. On these calculators, you need this. This is the calculator that will be provided if you don't bring yours. You need this y to the x key. And the way I would type it in is, I type in 8, I hit the y to the x key, and then I'm going to use parentheses, 3 divided by 4. And this is set up to round off, so it's 4.757. And I would get the same thing over here. Again, 4, y to the x, and parentheses, 9 divided by 8. And 4.757 again. So that gives me my answer for y, or x equals negative 1/8. On this one, if a is less than b, then absolute value of a minus b is equivalent to which of the following? On a problem like this, I'm just going to plug in a number. I try to stay away from 0, 1s, and 2s because sometimes those will give you a false correct answer. So I'm just going to use 3 is less than 7. A would be 3 and B would be 7. And now I'm going to work all these problems using 3 and 7. Absolute value of 3 minus 7. Absolute value of negative 4, and positive 4 is the number I'm looking for. So over here on this one, a plus b, 3 plus 7 would give me 10. Doesn't work. A plus b would be 10. The opposite of that would be negative 10. Doesn't work. A minus b would give me negative 4. Square root of negative 4 doesn't work. A minus b gives me negative 4. Doesn't work. On this one, it's the opposite of negative 4. Gives me positive 4. That's the answer over here. K would be my answer. Guessing. Why guess? No penalty for wrong answers. In the right triangle below, 0 is less than b is less than a. One of the angle measures in the triangle is tangent inverse of a over b. What is the cosine of the tangent inverse of a over b? Now, if you're in trig, you might be able to work this problem out. If not, you may be looking at this saying, I have no clue, guess, and move on. No penalty for wrong answers. Again, a problem like this, you guess. If you have any idea how to work it, make sure you go slow and get the right answer. How to guess. There's random guessing and there's odd man out. You have 5 answers for random guessing. You've got a chance of 1 out of 5 to get it correct. That's 20%. Odd man out. Sometimes when you have the 5 answers, you can eliminate choices that are clearly different than the rest. So if you have 4 answers that are similar and one that's not, throw the one out that's not even close, and then you've increased your odds to be 1 out of 4, which would be 25%. One strategy on random guessing is to say, hey, before I go into this test, every problem that I have no clue how to work, I'm going to choose the 3rd answer, and that's what I'm going to do on each one of them. There's nothing special about the 3rd one. You could choose to say, I'm going to always choose the 2nd answer, but have a strategy that says, no matter what problems I have no clue how to work, I'm going to pick this answer and then move on. Max out your calculator. On this, the best calculator for the ACT or the Compass is the one you know how to use. It should have a fraction key, an exponent key, and a parentheses key. Please, please, please bring the calculator to the Compass test that you're familiar with. There is an advantage to using a graphing calculator if you're comfortable with it. Programs are allowed on the math test. There are some calculators that are not allowed on the test, and those are calculators that have built-in computer algebra system. There's a whole list of them on the computer. I didn't write them all down because there was too many. But again, it cannot have a built-in computer algebra system. The last page is the math strategy. On the questions, read the question slowly and think about it. Ask yourself, do I understand the question and what is it asking for? If your answer is yes, then you're going to say, do I know how to solve it? If your answer is yes, then you solve it. That's how you solve it mathematically. If your answer is no up here, then you say, can I use another strategy? Can I estimate? Can I plug in numbers? Can I check the choices? Those are all those strategies that we talked about. If your answer is no, then you're going to guess. If you can throw that odd man out, it improves your chances. If you're taking an SAT, leave it blank because wrong answers do count against you. But on the ACT and Compass, they do not. If your answer was no up here, where you didn't understand the question, you didn't know what it was asking for, then again, you're going to guess and you're going to move on. The main thing I want you to remember, go slow on the ones you know. The Compass test is on March 25th. It's coming up. Next week, we will be taking a practice Compass test with multiple choice questions. I hope you use these strategies to help you improve your score on the Compass.